So, welcome back to the man cave. So now it's the final part of the series of the SU-35S flanker. And in this episode we're gonna complete the fuselage with landing gears, and we're gonna do the rest of the weathering. And in the end I will show you some really nice footage of the SU flanker I'm building. If you have any suggestions for this new channel, please write a comment, subscribe, do what you can to help me. As a beginner, I'm learning new things all the time. So this is the puppy we're working on. So while you were watching the part 4, I did some panel lining and a little wash on the top side. And I did the engines, so now I think they need some more adjustments just so. With that said, subscribe and hit the bell. Thank you. So now it's time to draw the panel lines on the bottom of the fuselage. And I'm using the same paint as I did with the top side. It's the dark wash from Arm of Mig. So this will take a while since there's a lot of details. I prefer to paint like this. So that's the first side. So the panel lines on the bottom of the fuselage is done. I have some minor adjustments. I have to add some more in some places, but other from that, it's going good. Gonna look good. So it's time to start weathering the airplane, and I'm using simple oil color for this task. I'm adding some points with oil color on the wing here, so it should look like maybe some rain that has been sweeping over the wings, over the leading edge as well, so it looks like chalk, or what you call it. So adding those oil drops, or what you call it, oil, and then I'm using a brush to wipe them out. The direction the wind is going over the wings. I added a touch of white spirit to my pencil. Where water can be collected. Phone is ringing. So by using oil paints you get a really good control over the part you are weathering. I don't know if you can see the variations on the wing here. We got some white small stripes going all around the fuselage. And I'm gonna add some other colors soon. So now it's time for some weathering on the fuselage on the bottom side. So I'm trying to mimic some stripes here with grease from the leading edge. And of course I did some mistakes, or one mistake. I should have applied the decals before I did the weathering, so I have to maybe do some re-weathering when I'm done with the decals. The decals look like this, and it should be really interesting to see how the quality is of those. So I will get started with this. So here I'm applying the decals on the top of the engine. I'm using some microsole now to make them flatten out better. This is a media that you have to be really careful with when working, because it's really easy to ruin your decals. So finally all the decals are on the plane. I had some problems with some bigger decals. I got some silvering effect. There should be 2 red squares here on this body here. So I'm gonna paint those instead, because I want it to look like the real thing. And there are tons of decals on this plane. I don't know if you can see them, but they are everywhere. So I think it's gonna be a nice build, this airplane. So far so good. So next part is to mount the landing gears and put on all the wheels. And when that is done, it's time for weapons. And then it's the time for the reveal and some nice photos of this project. So far so good. The airplane is almost complete right now. We have all the details, all the landing gears are mounted on this puppy. So now it's time to add some bombs and missiles. When it's done, I'm gonna give this kit a score. It's based on a lot of parameters. So it's gonna be a new thing in this channel. I'm gonna give every kit I'm building a score. So that will be really fun to make. So stay tuned. So right now I'm sitting here with all the missiles and all the weapon pylons, and according to the instructions there is no guidance. So this is a little mess for me, so I have to guess where all the pylons should be, or the adapters between the weapon and the pylons. So this was not so great. So the instructions so far are failing, but we are getting to the end. So I fast forward the movie and all the weapons are done. It's fully loaded, as you can see. So now it's time to give this puppy a score, a Scalemodel Score. So then it's time to put a score on the SU-35S flanker from Great Wall Hobby. And we will start with instructions. Were they easy to follow? I would say not that good, because it was a disaster when it comes to the weapons. The painting guide is not normal, so I had to put it in bad. Decal guide, I will say it's normal. Any errors? Yes, there are errors. Some minors, I will have to put in some. Is the instructions informative about the plane? Yes, they are. You can read a lot of nice information about the plane. Then we come down to sprues. Details on parts, I would say it's very high. Seam line, yes, there are some, especially on the canopy, and that I had to sand down and polish, so that was not that fun. There's non-flush. The 3D design of parts, I would say it's smart, because they tried to avoid scratches on the canopy when it's in the box, and there are some parts on the fuselage that snaps together. That is really clever. So I put smart there. And if we look at the plastic, I think it's normal. It's not soft or too hard. Any parts not fitting? Yes, I had some parts in the cockpit that was not fitting that I had to cut away some plastic on. And there were some parts on the fuselage and weapon that did not fit, so we had to put in some there. And what about the build? The build level, I would say, is hard. Mainly because of the instructions with the weapons. The fuselage is quite straightforward otherwise. Parts ratio, I would say that it's a normal for this build. Not too many and not too few. Fun factor, I would just say it's okay. I had built other models that are more fun. Durability or strength, I would say is weak. You have to be very careful when touching the plane, and the landing gears are really soft, so it's not built like a tank. The decals, I had some silvering on some decals. I don't know why, because I applied them all the same. So is it normal or bad? I would say it's a bad quality. No, I said it's normal because it was just a few and there were tons of decals. Is it over-designed CAD? Yeah, it is. They could have done some parts in one piece instead of four pieces, especially around the engine. So I would say it's a little over-designed CAD. Were there any surprises in the kit? No surprises. So the score for this model is 46 points out of maximum 70 points. So I would say that it's an average kit.